You don't know me, but my name's Si. I'm just the old hair delivery guy. But it seems like trees might be worth a try. So I say, let it grow. My name is Dan.
And my name's Rose.
Our son Wesley kinda glows. And that's not good, so we suppose we should let it grow.
Let it grow, let it grow. You can't reap what you don't sow. Plant a seed inside the earth. Just one way to know its worth. Let's celebrate the world's new birth. We say let it grow.
My name's Mary, and I am 3. I would really like to see a tree. La 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 lee. I said let it grow.
I'm Grammy Norma, I'm old and I've got gray hair. But I remember when trees were everywhere and no one had to pay for air. So I say, let it grow.
Let it grow, like it did so long ago. It's just what time is here, but it's all we really need. It's time to change the life we lead. Time to let it go.
Hello, and welcome to the 19th video, I believe, of this little, well, not coronation anymore. This is summertime, so during the summer, the 19th video during this coronation / summer vacation. And the movie recommendation for the week is Dr. Seuss's The Lorax. If you have not watched this movie, it is a great movie. It is not only talking about the environment and how important it is to preserve the trees, but it is also a fun movie to watch, and that's why it is the recommendation. And it was a very popular song that came out from that movie called Let It Grow, which you just heard in the beginning of the video. So, movie recommendation, Dr. Seuss's The Lorax. If you know nothing about Dr. Seuss, which is probably not the case, because I'm sure all of you have read one of his books, or plenty of them. Dr. Seuss was a very popular author, and you definitely have come across one of his works, and we all love him. That's just like the only thing I can say is just he's an amazing writer, he's funny, and there's so many movies based off of his books, so this is one of them. But if you love Dr. Seuss, then you should watch all of the movies that are based on his books, and read his books as well, because reading is good for you. So, without further ado, this week we will be talking about multiplication. We made it. Congratulations. But baby steps, obviously. Just like area, we gotta take baby steps. So, basically, we want to understand multiplication, we want to know how to multiply, and to do that, I will be using an array. So just for you guys to understand, I wrote the definition over here. An array is basically an arrangement of objects in rows and columns. So let's say I draw circles. Let's say I use circles as the objects. This could be an array right here. Let me just draw it out for you. Here we go. That could be an array. This whole thing. There are 3 rows, 1, 2, 3, and 2 columns. So that's just basically an array. This can be an array. This can be an array. And this can be an array. So it's just basically anything that has rows and columns in it, to simplify it. But that was just for you to understand. If you want to write the definition down, you can pause the video or go back. But basically, when I learned it, and which is extremely important, something I want to emphasize, is multiplication is addition. It is simplified addition. Instead of writing out this number plus this number plus this number and this number, blah, 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 all the way down, we just write this number times, we use a dot, or we can use the little x, another number. So instead of this long line of numbers that we gotta add, we just write 2 numbers. Simple. But I will ease that transition, and the addition that we will be doing will not be that complex. You may have 5 numbers to add, you may not. So without further ado, I said without further ado already, my bad. But let's just get to it. So I'm just gonna go head on into a problem and sort of explain it. We'll see how this works out. So I'm going to draw an array of black little circles. These circles aren't perfect, but I am no artist, so do not judge me. Okay. Okay. So I want you guys to count the rows and columns. So if you do not know, rows go this way, they go horizontal, and columns are vertical. So when we count columns, we count vertically. We count rows, count them horizontally. Horizontally meaning across, or as you can see by the line, that line is horizontal, this line is vertical. Let's say you go to the movies. We've all been to the movie theater. There are a bunch of seats. We're gonna mark them by X's. Let's just say there's these seats. If you basically look, this is like a top view of a movie theater, right? Here's the screen. This is an array. And you go and the ticket says you're in row E. Well, it could be like D, E, F, row E, horizontal. So when your ticket says you're in seat 5, row E, it's horizontal. So just remember the movie theater when thinking about rows. And if you know that rows are horizontal, then columns must be vertical. That is not erasing. I'm sorry to any of my OCD people, but nothing I can do. Oh, just got it. Never mind, I spoke too soon. Okay, perfect. So, how many rows and how many columns do we have? I want you to do this on your own. Pause the video, take time. I will pause myself for 5 seconds, but if you need more time, pause the video. Okay, so this array over here has 3 rows and 2 columns. Now, without anything, just count the number of black dots. 6, right? So we got 6 black dots. So I want you to do addition. We're using addition right now. So we can either 2 things. So in multiplication, if I did 4 times 5, which is 20, I can also write it as 5 times 4. So there's multiple ways to write it. It's not like subtraction where the number has to go in a specific place. Multiplication, you can change around the numbers. So we can either add 2 dots 3 times, or we can add 3 dots 2 times. What I mean is we can go 2 plus 2 plus 2 or 3 plus 3. Adding 2 dots 3 times, I'll do that in blue, adding 2 dots 3 times, or we add 3 dots 2 times because we have 2 rows of 3 dots, which is 2 rows of 3 dots, and we have 2 columns of 3 dots. My apologies. Thank you guys for catching me on that. And we have 3 rows of 2 dots. So since each row has 2 dots, we are adding 2 3 times. And if you did the addition, simple addition, it would add up to 6. So if we did 3 rows by 2 dots, which was this, we would get 6. If we did 2 columns by 3 dots, we would get also 6. So just getting you to understand that addition and multiplication relationship is extremely important, because once you understand that relationship, this topic will be so much easier for you to understand, especially when it gets harder. So as you can see, this over here, you can't see it with this one, but you can see it with that one. This one looks longer than that one. So as you can see, multiplication is a shortened version. Okay, we're going to do one more example. I'm going to explain it, but this one I'm going to let you do it by yourself, and then we'll go our separate ways. So I'm going to use x's. Why not? Do not count the x's. Please just do not count the x's. Try to use multiplication and think about using addition to solve this. Like I said before, the last one was 3 times 2 or 2 times 3. And if we thought about it, let's just take 2 times 3. We are adding 2 3 times. If you think about it like that, if we had 3 times 2, we're adding 3 2 times. If we had 7 times 2, we're adding 7 2 times. But this is why you need to know your multiplications instead of doing the addition. But for now, do the addition. But I want you to understand it, because you could get like 8 times 100, and we don't want to write 8 100 times and then add it, because that would take us a very long time. But use the addition little trick for now. Until you familiarize yourself with multiplication, you start to memorize and see the patterns, and you'll know that, like, say 6 times 7 is 42. You'll just know that on the top of your head. But for now, you need to practice, and practice with the addition as well. The relationship of multiplication and addition, just practice it, bam, 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 and then it will all come and you'll start to memorize it, and all will be well. So find the rows, find the columns, write it like this. Oops, I'm in eraser mode. Write it like this. Equals blank. And then if, let's say last time the numbers were 3 and 2, then I would say, okay, let's say this was rows and this was columns. R for rows, C for columns. Then we would say we're adding 3 twice, and then we would get our mystery answer, and then bada bing, bada boom. But fill in all the question marks. I'm going to pause myself for 5 seconds, but feel free to pause this video longer, and then I'll explain this to you, and we will go our separate ways. Okay, if you have not finished, then please pause the video because I'm going to go through it. So, first thing I like to do is I like to count the rows. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 rows. So we have 6. Columns, there are 4 columns. We can also write it like this, but I just like to do rows times columns. A lot of people do, so you'll see in worksheets the standard is to do rows times columns. That's not the point. Now we got our rows times columns. Now we need to do the addition. So we are adding 6 4 times. Whoopsies. We are adding 6 4 times. And when we add 6 4 times, we get 24. So then we know 6 times 4 or 4 times 6, because multiplication you can do both ways, equals 24. So just think about it like that. This number, the first number in multiplication, is the number that you're adding in addition. And this number, the second number, is the number of spots. Think about it like that. So we basically just covered little multiplication, just baby steps. I know it's frustrating, but you gotta bear with me here. And soon, in no time, I promise you will be a multiplication expert. Alright guys, hope you enjoyed this little video here. Stay safe, stay cool, and stay learning. Bye-bye.